Good morning, class, the receiving school students and your teachers out there.
Good morning, Mrs. Wakangas.
How are you all this morning?
We are very well, thank you, and how are you?
I'm very well, just like you all, thank you, and you may be seated. In our previous lesson, we did a follow-up on the survey that we did to find out the types of food that are eaten by other students in the school, the food that they eat for the 3 main meals and snacks. And we did a follow-up on that, and we will be presenting what we have done, the activities we have done in groups. So please, I'd like you to get ready. There's going to be 3 from each group, 1 to present a graph, 1 with the brief report, and 1 on how or ways that you can help to educate your friends in the other class how to eat nutritious diets. So please, I'd like the group 1s to move up quickly and present what you have. Okay, let's have the group 2s while the group 1s are getting themselves ready. Group 2s, can we move quickly? After group 2s, we will have group 3. We'll come back to group 1 later. Make it quickly.
Looking good, baby, looking good.
This is our graph that we enter with the grade 5s. For fats, we got 7. For carbohydrate, we got 30. For protein, we got 11. For vitamins and minerals, 8. And water, 11.
Okay, thank you. We have the next one, please, quickly.
The brief report, the students we have interviewed ate a lot of carbohydrates and also ate less fat. It is unhealthy to eat a over-nutritious and under-nutritious diet.
Very good, thank you. The next, group 2, you should be coming up now. 3s.
The fourth one, explain to them how to eat a balanced diet and let them know about the consequences of eating a balanced meal. Encourage and advise them to eat a healthy and balanced diet.
Very good, thank you. Group 2, please. Do your explanation, please.
As you can see on the drafting sheet, fats we have 10, carbohydrates we have 22, protein we have 20, vitamins and minerals we have 14, water we have.
Where is it now?
As you can see, this is our brief report. Our graph shows that most of the students eat food from carbohydrate, protein, water, vitamins and minerals, but less fat.
Good, thank you. We have Terence. Group 4, get ready, please.
By informing them to eat food from the 5 food groups and how it carries out its functions.
Thank you, group 3. Let's have group 4, please. 5, get ready, please.
You talk to you and you are, sir. You talk to
This graph is showing the amount of nutrients consumed by the students we interviewed. Fats 19, carbohydrates 26, protein 11, vitamins and minerals 8, and water 14.
Thank you. The next one quickly, Ovin.
The student we interviewed, most of them consume their food containing the nutrients, carbohydrates, more than the other nutrients.
Good, thank you. Quarry.
How to eat a nutrient diet is by eating a balanced meal and by eating some food from those 5.
Good, thank you. Group 5, move quickly. Group 6, get ready.
My group and I did a graphing sheet about the total amount of nutrients that the children eat. The total amount of fats is 16, carbohydrates 22, protein 12, vitamins and minerals 16, and water 22.
Thank you. Next. Tassi.
Group 5 brief report is the graphing sheet tells us that students we interviewed eat more food that contains carbohydrates and water than the food that contains vitamins, minerals, fats, and protein.
Thank you. We have Raymond for the
Our activity is how to
6, please. You should be moving up.
our activity is to explain how you can help the other students know how to eat nutritious diet. First, we'll tell them how many food groups and its nutrients and what they are and their functions in the body. Then we are going to show them the types of food to eat. We'll help by showing it in a way where they would want to eat a nutritious diet. For example, we will put a drama based on the importance of a nutritious diet and the different types of disease caused by not eating a nutritious diet.
Very good. Good presentation. Let's have group 6. Please move. Seven, get ready. Let's have Daira to start.
Your day is about 18 fats and 57 carbohydrates and 20 protein and 16 vitamins and minerals and 36 water.
Thank you. We have Tanabik for the brief report.
Our brief report on
7, get ready.
children we interviewed eat a lot of carbohydrates than the rest of the nutrients, and most of the food they eat come under staple. Vitamins and minerals are not common in what they eat. Some of the food they eat contain water.
Thank you, Shane.
Our answer for question number 4 is tell them the importance of a nutritious diet and also about the nutrients and their functions and how it helps the body. And also explain to them how to prepare a balanced meal to eat containing foods from the 5 food groups and their nutrients. I'm very sure that when we do this, they'll be very healthy and strong. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Good presentation. Let's have group 7.
Group and I, we came up with a total amount of nutrients. Fat is 13, carbohydrate 59, protein 13, vitamins and minerals 8, and water 22.
The brief report, the highest nutrient in the group sheet is the carbohydrates. The second is water, and the least of all is the vitamins and minerals. Most of our students in the school eat more carbohydrates and drink a lot of water, so we have to encourage them to eat a lot of vitamins and minerals.
Thank you, Rachel. We come back to group 1. You get ready. You haven't done your presentation yet.
tell them that what they're eating or the type of food that they're taking or eating is not a balanced meal. Like they need to have a nutritious diet or a meal, and show them that what a nutritious diet is. Like for example, we tell them that we need to have every nutrient that is, especially the 6 nutrients, we need to have them in our meals, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and also the snacks. So that's about it.
Good, thank you. Good presentation. Let's have group 1. We missed them, so we are coming back to them. If I can have them out quickly, group 1.
Nutrients that the children eat, the fats 10 and carbohydrates 27, protein 17, vitamins and minerals 18, water 21.
Thank you. Mercy, with a brief report.
The students we interviewed gave us brief information on what they ate in their daily meals. The highest nutrients found was carbohydrates with 27. The second highest was found under water with 21. Vitamins and minerals were the next with 18. Then protein was the next with 17. Last of all was fats with 10.
You are Helen with your ways of helping your friends.
In the ways of helping our friends, we tell them a nutritious diet is eating enough of the right kind of food, or eating meals that include some of the food from each of the 5 food groups, generally so that our bodies are properly nourished in order to stay healthy. To make a nutritious diet, we have to add some of the 5 food groups. Thank you.
Good, thank you, Helen. I'd like you all to give yourselves a worship clap for very good presentation. Every one of you presented so well of your findings on the survey that we did. And I'd like you all to give yourselves a worship clap. I'd like Carol, if you can read to us what topic and topic activity is going to be for our lesson. Both of them.
The topic, places and ways of obtaining food. The topic activity, identify how and where to get food.
Very good. So we will be looking at places and ways of obtaining food. And in that topic, we will be basically looking at trying to identify how and where to get the food that we eat. Now, I'd like, Gail, if you can tell us what food is. Here we will be talking about or trying to identify how and where to get food. If you can tell us what food is. What is food?
Anything that is eaten so that the body can live to satisfy one's hunger.
Okay, so those are the 2 basic definitions that should help us to know what food is. Now, if I can have someone to tell me what this word is. What is this word? Yes, Violet.
To take in something.
Okay, to take in something. And we normally or commonly, we say what instead of that word? Shane? Eat. Okay, so a common word that we use every day is eat. And the word that we have there is consume. Consume. Now, there are 3 types of food. 3 types of food that we consume every day. Okay. Now, this is not actually talking about the food groups, but how the food is made, where it's made, where we get them from. So basically, there are about 3 types of food that we eat each day. And I'd like anybody from the class, if you can tell me what you think those 3 types of food are. There are 3 types of food we consume or we eat each day. Okay, we have a Shane.
Lunch, breakfast, and dinner.
Okay, those are the main meals. That's okay, these are the main meals. Now to make it a bit easier for you to understand what I mean, all the food that we eat, okay, whether it's rice, tin fish, taro, banana, biscuit, there are 3 ways that this food is made, or these foods are made. What are the 3 ways that this food are made or is made? Anybody would like to try before I let you know? Yes, Quarry would like to try.
Cooking, boiling, and frying.
Come on again.
Cooking, boiling, and frying.
Okay, she says cooking, boiling, and frying. Okay, actually we are only brainstorming. And whatever you have given me, Shane has given me the main meals, and Quarry has given me some methods of cooking. Okay, now there are 3 types of food that we consume. One is the first type of food we eat is commercially produced. Commercially produced. The second type we eat, it's on the screen. If I can have Messi to tell us what the second type of food is. If you can have that written quickly.
Locally produced food.
Locally produced food. And the third, Junior, the third.
Homegrown food.
Homegrown food. Now, can someone tell me what commercially produced food are? Here, I do not wish for you to name me the types of food, but what you can tell me about commercially produced food. Yes, Tulanga? Somebody can get ready for the second one, locally produced.
The food that we import.
The food that we import, okay? We buy from other countries. Good. Let's have somebody else with locally produced. Locally produced. Trisha?
Produced in our country.
Okay, food that we produce in our country, good. The third one, homegrown foods. Yes, Elisa, homegrown foods.
Food grown in our own garden.
Food grown in our own yards by ourselves, food grown by ourselves. Now we look at what commercially produced food. And commercially produced food are food that are made on a large scale. Food that are made on a large scale, especially in factories, in food processing plants, or in bakeries. So commercially produced food are actually the food that is made on a large scale. Locally produced food that are made on a smaller scale. These are the food that we buy from the commercially produced food, and using the commercially produced food, we are able to make food out of what we buy from the commercially produced food. Now, a lot of them, we see them at markets. This is with the locally produced food. We see a lot of them at the markets. If someone can give me an example of one of the locally produced food that you see at our school market. Yes, Carol?
Cocoa. Cocoa.
Cocoa, yeah. Locally produced food, come on again, is made from commercially produced food. Commercially produced food are made on larger scale in factories or food processing plants. Now, locally produced food is the food that is made from commercially produced food, but they are not produced on larger scales like they are made in factories. Now, you see a lot of them in our school market. If I can have another example. Linda?
Donut.
Donuts. Donuts is a good example of locally produced food. Now, what is donut made from, Adrian? What is donut made from? I'd like Adrian to tell us.
Flour.
From flour. Shane, where is this flour made from?
From a factory.
Yeah, from our factory. So flour is actually commercially produced, and from the flour we have donuts which are locally produced, and there are many other locally produced food that you see where you live and even in your schools. We also have homegrown food, which is food that is grown at home. Raymond, give me an example of homegrown food.
Banana.
Yeah, banana is a good example. Food that you grow yourself, probably in the gardens or in your backyards. Now, how do we obtain all this food? I'd like you to think about that. How is food obtained? Now we looked at the three places where food is produced. Now I'd like you to help me with how this food is obtained. How do we get this food? We know some foods are commercially produced, some are locally produced, and some are homegrown. Now, how do we obtain this food, or how do we get this food? Okay, let's brainstorm and see what you have, Tulanga.
We buy them.
Good. Okay, buying or buy. Any others? Yes, Shane.
We grow them.
Grow them ourselves. Good. Okay, let's have the last one. Many, but I'll just have the last one. Yes, Carol.
We make them, for example, donuts.
Okay, so we make them ourselves. So these are some of the ways that we obtain food or we get our food. Now we just have a look at some examples of how food is obtained. Some examples of how food is obtained. First one, we have buying. That's the answer that Tulanga has given us. Now the next one we have, it says exchanging or barter system. Anybody who can tell me what you know of exchanging or barter system? Okay, let's say Violet. Exchanging or barter system.
Trading system.
Okay, trade. What do you actually do? You can
Trade
give us an
goods.
example.
Yeah, trading food, for example. Exchange food.
Exchange, okay. Violet says exchange, that's good, but I'd like someone to tell me, how do you really exchange? What do you actually do? Yes, we have car out again. Yeah?
You give something to them in order for them to give you something.
Good. You give something to them, and in return, you get something from them. Now, in here, we are talking about food. Can someone give me a very good example of this barter system or exchanging? It was done history in our country. Shane likes to try.
One good example is when the Motuens, they changed clay pots to the Gulf in order to
Very
get
good.
sago.
Thank you. That's a very good example of barter system or exchange. In the Motuens in the Central Province used to go and exchange their clay pots with the people from Gulf for sago. Okay? Now, the next we have is growing own food. That is what Shane has given us as his answer. We also have sharing. Sharing. Helen, can you tell us something about sharing?
Sharing the food among your people or community.
Okay, good. What you have, if you have more, you give some away to another person. We also obtain our food through fishing, hunting, and also gathering. Anybody who can tell me about gathering? Gathering. That is one of the examples we have there. Gathering. We seem to be having the same people. Okay, let's have Patrick. Thank you.
Bright price.
Thank you. Good try. Anybody? Let's say quarry.
Feast.
Feasting. Yes. Good try. Anybody else? I have the last one. Yes. Paul.
You make a feast.
Okay, feasting. Now, gathering, this is where you don't plant the food yourself. You don't grow the food yourself. You go and you collect them, probably from the trees. Probably you dig the ground, get them out. Now, example, food in the bush. You don't plant the food, but when it's time for that certain food, you just go and collect them, like fruits. We have leaves like tulip. We gather them. You just go and collect whatever is there that you did not plant, but because it's food and has to be eaten, you go along to especially bush or sometimes in the sea, gather them or collect them. So these are some of the examples of how food is obtained. Now we will also look quickly at where food is obtained. That's very simple. Where do we get all the food that we eat or consume? Come on, hurry up with the answers. It's not hard. Thank you, Violet.
At the supermarkets.
Supermarkets, thank you. Another one. Bobby.
Markets. Markets.
Markets, good. Let's say one from Riku.
Store.
Store. So we have Violet said supermarkets. Riku said store. Now, actually, they are the same thing. However, supermarkets are very big, much bigger than stores. Now, these are some pictures showing where we obtain food. Where we obtain food. We have the sea, bush, garden, and market. We also have a store there or a canteen. We also obtain our food from the swamps or from rivers. We also obtain food by growing them ourselves in our backyards. Also on farms. I believe there are some of us who have farms. Farms are actually much bigger than gardens, and you find that one type of food is growing on that piece of land. So these are just examples of some of the places where we get our food, but there are so many other places where we get our food that you should all know of. Okay, we are going to go on to our next, to our lesson activity. And I'd like, Rachel, if you can read for us quickly.
In groups, discuss and write the advantages and disadvantages of obtaining food from the three main food sources.
Right, good, thank you. So you're only to write the advantages and disadvantages of obtaining food from the three main food sources. We have commercially produced, locally produced, and homegrown. Now, teachers in the receiving schools, that is how your worksheet should look like. You have the food sources, the advantages and disadvantages. Now, once you work in your groups, you will write about what is good about getting food, getting commercially produced food, and what is not good about. Some good things about it and some things which are not good about it. Now, we will not be doing all of them together. What we are going to do, group 1 and 2, you will work on the first one. 3 and 4 on the second one, and 5 to 7 on the last one. So if I can have you to come up quickly and get your papers. Let's get your markers already.
No, yeah, but
now listen, just one advantage, one disadvantage. You don't have to write many. Okay, once again, reminding 1 and 2, you are on the commercially produced food. 3 and 4 on locally produced food. 5 to 7 on the homegrown foods, and please only one each. Once you finish, I'd like you to have your worksheets up on the board. Once you finish, I'd like you to come and put your worksheets up quickly so we know who has completed. Group 1, you finished. Okay. Group 1 is completed. Okay, let's have this. You are. You are? Okay, come with yours. You are? We have 1764. 3 and 2. We're going to get the magnet there.
William, I'm ready name William.
This is 2. Group 3. Now I'll only have 3. I'll only have 3 because we have 3 questions or activities to do. So for group 1 and 2, I will have 1%. For 3 and 4, I'll have 1. You will talk about the 2 groups' work. Somebody who comes for group 1 and 2, you will talk about what you did 1 and 2 did. Okay? 5, 6, and 7 will also have 1%. So 1 and 2, who is going to do the presentation? We have 1 and 2 over here. Thank you. Now 1 and 2, this is on commercially produced food. So Helen is going to do that on behalf of 2s as well, group 2. Thank you. Yeah, you can quickly talk about what you have there.
Okay, for group 1, commercial produced, we've got, for the advantage, we've got get to taste different types of food. The disadvantage is cost a lot of money to the government. For group 2, the advantage is we can use the commercial products to make locally produced foods, and the disadvantage is cost money to buy them. Too expensive. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Let's have 3 yet to do there. Give us this. Let's have, okay, we still have 5 yet to come. That is group 3. Okay, 3 and 4, we will have Trisha to present their 2 papers.
For group 3, it's the advantage of locally produced food is it's cheaper, it's closer, and the disadvantage is not prepared properly. And for group 4 is freshly made and overdue. Thank you.
Right, thank you. We'll have someone to present 6. Okay, we only have 6, so let's have 6.
Advantages of homegrown is you won't waste money on buying goods, and disadvantages is hard work and takes time to grow. The other advantages is you don't waste. It's just the same thing.
Very good, thank you. So now you yourselves, by the end of this lesson, you should be able to know the advantages and disadvantages. Good things about the 3 places where food is produced, and things that are not good about those 3 places where food is produced. Now, if I can have someone to tell me what our key phrase is. You can tell us what our key phrase is. Yes, Elisa.
Places of obtaining food.
Okay, places of obtaining food. We have how and where food is obtained. How and where food is obtained as a key phrase. Now, teachers in the receiving schools, for our next lesson activity, we will be looking at preparation and cooking methods. And once again, teachers, we will be basically using the Home Economics Book 1. So if you need to get information, look through that book if you have that at your school, and get information on preparation and cooking methods. And with that, good morning class, the receiving school students and teachers.
Good morning, Mrs. Watlangas, and thank you for your lesson.
Receiving school teachers, use your reference for the next lesson. Strand, substrand, outcome, topic, materials, and reference.